Hey Army, say hello, because BTS just did something no other K-pop group has ever done in America. They got their own official day. That's right. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has officially declared August 27th and 28th, 2026 as BTS Day. And it's all thanks to the group's upcoming sold-out shows at Soldier Field in Chicago. Let that sink in for a second. An entire state, officially on paper, with the governor's signature, dedicating 2 full days to 7 guys from South Korea. This isn't just a fan celebration anymore. This is history, written into an actual government proclamation. Let's talk about how we got here, because this moment is the result of years of build-up, and it's landing right in the middle of what's already been one of the most historic tours BTS has ever done. This is all happening during their massive 2026 to 2027 Arirang World Tour, 79 shows, across 34 regions, 5 continents, all following the group's return after completing their mandatory military service in South Korea. This tour has already made history city after city. Boston got its first ever K-pop headline stadium show. Baltimore got tested by a tornado warning and showed up anyway. Arlington turned one of the biggest football stadiums in the country completely purple. And now, as the tour rolls into Chicago for 2 nights at Soldier Field on August 27th and 28th, Illinois decided this moment deserved something bigger than just another tour stop. It deserved recognition. So who's actually behind this? A lot of the credit goes to something called the Illinois BTS Proclamation Initiative, led by organizer Tamika Denson. This wasn't some top-down decision made purely by politicians looking for a headline. This came from fans, from organizers, from people who understand exactly what this group means to their community, pushing to have that impact formally acknowledged. And it worked. Governor Pritzker signed the proclamation earlier in the month, officially marking August 27th and 28th as BTS Day across the entire state of Illinois. Now, here's what makes this proclamation different from just a symbolic gesture. The reasoning behind it goes way deeper than just celebrating a concert. According to Denson, the initiative highlights what she calls the profound, real-world civic impact of the band's message, specifically pointing to their advocacy around self-love, mental health awareness, and youth empowerment. Think about that for a second. This isn't Illinois saying, "Hey, a popular band is in town, let's throw them a party." This is Illinois formally recognizing that BTS's message, the one they've been building into their music and their public presence for over a decade now, has had a real, measurable, positive effect on people's lives, especially young people. That's the kind of cultural impact that doesn't happen by accident. That's over 10 years of consistency, of showing up for their fans, of talking openly about mental health before it was mainstream to do so, of building an entire philosophy around loving yourself, finally being recognized at a governmental level. And it doesn't stop at just a proclamation on paper either, because Illinois is taking this visual too. The Willis Tower, one of the most iconic buildings on the entire Chicago skyline, is set to be lit up in purple from 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. on both August 27th and 28th. Picture that for a second. One of the tallest, most recognizable buildings in America, glowing purple, Army's signature color, visible across the entire city skyline for 2 nights straight. That's not just a celebration anymore. That's a statement. That's a city, quite literally, changing its own skyline to honor this fandom. Denson explained the thinking behind that decision too, saying that by coordinating this proclamation and proposing the purple skyline illumination, the initiative is showing how a shared love of music can become a powerful pop culture moment, one that helps elevate visibility for the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander community, supports digital inclusion, and brings different generations together across Chicago. So this moment isn't just about BTS and ARMY anymore. It's about representation. It's about a global movement led by 7 Korean artists, being used as a platform to lift up visibility and connection in ways that reach way beyond just the music itself. And of course, there's the economic side of all of this too, which cities have already seen play out at every single stop on this tour. With thousands of fans expected to travel into Chicago for these 2 shows, the city is bracing for a real economic boost. Hotels filling up, restaurants packed, rideshares in high demand, local businesses seeing the same kind of surge that Boston, Baltimore, and Arlington all experienced when BTS rolled through town. Except this time, it's not just an economic bump happening quietly in the background. It's an economic and cultural moment big enough that the state government decided to formally put its name on it. Now, if you've been following this tour from the start, this moment probably doesn't feel completely out of nowhere. Because if you think about the full picture, Boston getting its first K-pop headline show ever, Baltimore's Army community raising over $13,000 for a local nonprofit, Arlington's stadium glowing purple for 2 nights straight. This tour has been building towards something bigger than just concerts the entire time. Every single city has shown, in its own way, that this isn't a passing trend. This is a fandom and an artist capable of leaving a real, lasting mark on the communities they visit. Illinois just happened to be the first state to put that impact into an official, signed proclamation. And let's not forget, this comes on the heels of BTS reuniting as a complete group for the first time since their hiatus, after all 7 members completed their military service. RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook back together, back on stage, and clearly still capable of generating this level of cultural impact, years after their debut back in 2013. This is a group that's already the most awarded artist in South Korean history, with 67 Daesangs and counting, and Grammy nominations for both Dynamite and Butter. But an official state proclamation? That's a completely different kind of milestone. That's not an award show. That's a government formally recognizing what this fandom has built. So what does BTS Day in Illinois actually look like in practice? For 2 nights, August 27th and 28th, Soldier Field will host sold-out shows as part of the Arirang World Tour, following the same format fans have seen throughout this North American leg. The 360-degree stage, the setlist blending classic hits with newer material, the emotional highs and quieter, more intimate moments that have defined every stop so far. But surrounding those shows, Chicago itself becomes part of the celebration. The Willis Tower glowing purple against the night sky. A governor's proclamation making the date official, on record, permanently. And an entire fan base, thousands of army traveling from across the country and beyond, walking through a city that has, for these 2 days, officially dedicated itself to them. It's worth sitting with what this actually represents, because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and miss the bigger picture. A proclamation like this doesn't happen for just any concert. It happens when a group's impact stretches far past ticket sales and merchandise, into real conversations about mental health, self-worth, representation, and community. Illinois looked at everything BTS and ARMY have built together over more than a decade, and decided it deserved to be written into the state's official record. And for ARMY, that recognition means something deeply personal too. Because so much of what this fandom has always said about BTS is that their message changed lives, helped people through hard moments, gave people, especially young people, language and permission to talk about mental health, to practice self-love, to feel seen. Having a governor stand up and say, on the record, that this impact is real and worth honoring validates something ARMY has believed for years. So as the Arirang World Tour rolls into Chicago for these 2 historic nights, it's not just about another stop on an already record-breaking tour. It's about a fandom and a group being formally recognized for something much bigger than music alone. BTS Day isn't just a title. It's proof of over a decade of impact, finally being written into history in purple lights across an entire city skyline. If you're in Chicago for BTS Day, or if you're watching the Willis Tower light up purple from wherever you are in the world, drop a comment and let us know how it feels to see this fandom get this kind of recognition. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our coverage as the Arirang World Tour keeps making history. Thank you for watching, ARMY. Stream on. Purple you. And congratulations on this one. You all earned it. Purple Heart.